France, let me know. We're on. It being 1:30, we are going to commence the proceedings before the special magistrate for code enforcement for the city of Palatka. By way of introduction, my name is Ron Brown. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Florida, and pursuant to state statute and city code, I've been appointed by the city commission of the city of Palatka to preside over today's proceedings. This is not a formal court of law. We are not bound by the rules of evidence or the rules of civil procedures you might find down on 4th Street at the courthouse. We are, however, bound by some requirements of the state law and the city code regarding due process and fairness. And we are required to make sure everyone has due process, which is basically the right to be heard, right to hear the charges that have been levied, right to present evidence and testimony of your own, right to ask questions of anyone involved in the proceedings. It is also the right to have a fair decision that's not arbitrary and capricious. And to do that, we need to have evidence presented by both the city and those who are respondents who are here today. That's what's called substantial and competent. That is evidence that will cause a reasonable person to come to a reasonable conclusion. You don't have to reach the same conclusion, but it needs to be reasonable and it needs to be sworn. And that's a requirement of law. I'm going to ask at this time, and then we're going to do this just for everybody's clarification, since we look like we have a number of respondents here today. I'm going to ask the city staff who will be testifying to stand and take an oath. And as you come up for your individual case, we will swear in the respondents. And it's like Ms. Lowe, Mr. Green, Mr. Cutright are standing. If you raise your right hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give today should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? All right, and let the record show that all three have answered in the affirmative. We take the cases in the order in which they're presented on the agenda, unless the respondents are present. And then we take the cases in the order in which the respondents appear today. So it's first come, first served. And what's going to happen is I'm going to call your case and you'll have a chance to come up. The city is going to make a presentation regarding what they think the violation is. And as to the first case, there's a little bit of a twist to it because it's actually a case of second hearing before the special magistrate. But as I said, all the respondents have an opportunity to ask any questions you may have and present any evidence that you may have. So we'll take the cases in the order in which the respondents have appeared. It appears in that case that the first case is case 2023-61. Is that correct? And Ms. Lowe, this is your case? And this is property located at 512 Emmett Street in Palatka. Owner of record is Daniel R. Gornto. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
And for the record, this is a case of, I'm gonna call it second impression. That's a fancy legal term for the second time it's come through the system. And this is a case where a violation has already been found and a non-compliance has occurred and the fines have accrued as a result of the non-compliance. The city is now coming before the special magistrate seeking to have a lien imposed on the property and have that lien recorded in the public records. And that's significant under the law because it is something that does follow the title of the property around and has to be satisfied in case the property is ever sold, for example. And they're going to want that lien taken care of. Once this lien is established, you're going to have to go through a process to see if you can get it removed. And that's going to require an appearance before a different body. At this particular case, however, we're here to see about having the lien imposed, and we're going to take a look at the property and see if there's been any compliance or improvement in the property. The city will be entitled to a lien if, in fact, there's been no compliance, there's been no improvement in the property, and that the fines have accrued and the calculations for the fines are correct. So it's an unfortunate situation that we're facing, but it is one that is allowed both by state law and county code. Is Daniel R. Gornto present? Mr. Gornto, please come forward. And you've been here before, correct? All right. And for the record, your name is Daniel Gornto? And you are the owner of the property at 512 Emmett Street?
Yes, sir.
Oh, anybody else be testifying today?
Yes, I will.
What is your name, sir?
Dennis Byrne, B-Y-R-N.
Okay. Could you both raise your hands for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give today to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I do.
Whose case, Ms. Lowe? This is a case and you're looking for a lien and basically trying to show me that the violations have not been abated or cured. Is that correct?
That's correct, sir.
All right. What do you have for me? Let me make sure. Just as a matter of due process, I think we went through this before with it. Did you get the notice certified mail notifying you of the case today? You've got
No.
posted.
Oh, yeah, I think so, but, it's at the
Right.
house.
It appears, Ms. Lowe, correct me if I'm wrong, that the official address of 512 Emmett Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177 for this property and for Mr. Gornto, is that your correct address, Mr. Gornto?
Yes, sir.
Mailing address?
516 Emmett Street, yes, sir.
I'm sorry,
516 Emmett Street.
516.
Yeah, my address is 512, but it goes to my mama's house, who lives right next door.
All right. Just so you know, the reason it got posted, and we may have gone through this dialogue before. State law requires that the city's code enforcement send official notices to the official address of record as recorded by the property appraiser and tax collector of Putnam County. And that is 512 Emmett. And so that's why you did not get this letter. And the Postal Service, they sent it back unclaimed.
That's correct, sir.
And so that's when they posted the property. And you got the posting and you're here, so you've gotten process as to the fact. I just wanted you to know again, you might want to talk with the property appraiser. Do you get your tax bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, the post office didn't deliver this letter to the 512, but apparently tax collector thinks you live at 512 too. Okay, all right, Ms. Lowe?
Yes, sir. These violations were first observed on March 22nd, 2023. The notice of hearing for this hearing was sent out February 7th, 2023. The green card, was not signed. The letter was returned. So we did a complex posting and a site posting on the same date, February 7th, 2023.
You have your affidavit of service included in the record?
I do, yes, sir.
And since, let me just short circuit something, just so we know, since the order of violation that was entered in the case, has there been any improvement in the condition of the property?
No, sir.
You had any conversation with Mr. Gornto concerning this?
Not since our last court hearing.
Okay, so not a court, but last.
Yes, sir, the mass.
All right, go ahead and tell us what the situation is today and what the city's seeking. And Mr. Gornto, you'll have a chance to respond.
Yes, sir. If we can go to photo 1A, please. Yes, sir. This was the original photo that was taken on March 22nd, 2023 of 1A. And Ms. Sunny, if you can go to 1B, please. This is going to be the property in the current state. This was taken on February 15th, 2024, 1B. There's been,
Go back to 1A for me and just make sure we have a protocol.
yes, sir.
This photograph shows a violation of section 30-32A, deteriorating building.
Yes, sir.
And specifically, just explain what the photograph shows for the record.
Yes, sir. The arrows that are going up and down, it's missing the wall, it's missing the roof. And on the arrow that's a curve down, it's showing you where the building is deteriorating and coming down.
And that was the same condition as it was. This is a photo taken in March.
This was in March. The next photo was taken in February. And you can see where the rest of the roof has come down on where the arrow is curved. And there's been a little change on the arrow that's going up and down, a little bit of the more of the roof, the siding has fell down. And if we can go to 2A. This is going to show the property missing windows and broken windows. The arrows show where there's no more windows. And then on 2B, it's showing, you can see where some of the building has come down a little bit more, so you can almost not even see where the window belongs. But it's the same angle as the first one. This was taken on February 15th, still missing windows. And then 3A was taken on March 22nd, 2023. It's showing roofing in disrepair where there's no roof on the property. And this is going to be 3B taken on February 15th, 2024. Same angle, you can see where more of the roof, it's gone. The tree has grew up a little bit more, so I couldn't get the full angle, but the roof is gone completely on the right side. (4A), please. This is going to be 4A taken on March 22nd, 2023, and it was trash and debris in the front yard, and the arrows were showing where the debris was for cleanup. And on 4B, we have a little bit more. So this was taken on February 15th, 2024, trash and debris, and I placed arrows in the same spot. There's just a little more. 5A, taken on March 22nd, 2023, overgrown grass, trees, broken limbs on the same property. Pretty much speaks for itself. And then on 5B, this the same shot with the same violations on February 15th, 2024.
So has there been any improvement in any aspect of the property with regard to any of the violations?
And there's been a little bit of tree limbs and stuff that have been placed on the side of the road a few times that I went by and did follow-ups. The actually building has fell down a little bit more, so to me, it's in worse condition.
The compliance would be, at the time, what was the compliance required for the planning violation?
At the very beginning, it was section 3032A had building deteriorating, roofing in disrepair, windows broken or missing, trash and debris, overgrown grass and tree limbs. He had 120 days to come into compliance or pull a permit. He did have a permit, but it did expire on 12/01/2023. I did call building and zoning, and there was no inspections or anything called for on the property, so it did expire.
Any permits needed for any other aspect of the work?
They had pulled a permit to demo. So as of right now, I'm not showing no active permits.
Do we know the answer to that?
Sir,
Do we know the answer whether they're active permits?
last I pulled up on the permit site, there was none.
Okay, very good. So there's been no compliance with any aspect. As of today, what fines have accrued on the property?
As of today, apologize, sir, it is $23,000 right now.
What's the daily rate on this?
125. I can give you the exact amount. It's on my.
We're gonna need that.
Yes, sir. The total amount right now is $23,375. It was a cumulative $125 per day.
Because there were 5 violations.
Yes, sir, 5 violations.
So nothing's been done regarding the trash and debris in the yard? That doesn't require a permit.
No, sir, it doesn't.
What about the overgrown grass, tree limbs, broken tree limbs on the property? Nothing with that.
There's been a small amount that was placed on side the road, but nothing to make a substantial difference.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Mr. Gornto,
Yes, sir.
we have a claim by the city that since our last order, now we gave 120 days, is that correct, for compliance?
That's correct, sir.
And that was in what, March of last year?
Yes, sir.
So we're approaching 11 months.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gornto, it's been 11 months. The city, I think, is wanting an answer to the question of what can be done to bring this property into compliance.
I have been working on it. And the grass has been mowed. And the stuff that she says has been falling down, has been torn down. You can go by there today and there's a big old pile out there now. I can only put so much out beside the road. And I gotta wait for the city to pick it up. And then I can tear more out and put it out on the side of the road.
Also structurally, what
What is your relationship to the property, Mr. Byrne?
I live in the neighborhood. I am helping Mr. Gornto take the property down so I can salvage the wood from his house to use in rebuilding my house. since it's all period wood.
I'm not gonna go into anything other than just your testimony as what the state of the property is today, but please proceed.
So, yes, what her pictures don't show, the flooring has been removed. The plaster and lath is all down on the inner walls. Where she's saying that the building has deteriorated farther, that's where we have taken pieces of the building out. There is a whole section of wall that's been removed. Then we're ready to start taking floor joists out and start collapsing, some walls.
Well, let me ask a question at this juncture.
Mm-hmm.
And Ms. Lowe and Mr. Cutright, he's describing a series of work that appears to be demolition or construction, is that? what you're
Demolition.
assuming?
That's correct.
Demolition, yes, sir.
Well, Ms. Lowe indicated that there was a permit that had been applied for, is that correct?
The permit, it was valid. It expired on December 1st, 2023.
And we are holding a 90-day extension from the county that shows this expiring 5/12/2024. If we can enter this into the record. So right now, we do have a valid demolition permit.
Is that something, Ms. Lowe, you knew about?
I didn't know about that.
Can I ask a question? I think I'm pretty sure when.
I was here with Mr. Gorto last time, yes, sir.
You to stay in communication with the city. That doesn't seem to have happened, and now you're here looking at a $23,375 fine and a lien on the property because somebody's not communicating if that's the correct permit. What's that about? We can't pick up the phone and talk to each other, guys?
I don't have a phone, sir.
He didn't have
I'm
a
sorry?
phone. He didn't have a phone.
I don't have a phone, sir.
Come down to City Hall. I mean, guys, I'm just asking.
No, you're
You're very correct.
absolutely correct and,
It looks like this was applied after I did the posting on the property, that this was given to them on February 14th, 2024.
So after the property was posted, you went down to the county and got a new permit.
correct.
Yeah, when I could afford it.
Did you even tell the city at that time you'd gotten a permit?
No, sir.
Because now you're gonna notice that you don't have a permit and you haven't proceeded with the work. So why did the first permit expire? What happened?
I ran out of money to tear the house down.
And again, you didn't communicate that to the city about what was going on.
No, sir, I didn't.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, at this point, we're in a situation where it appears that and understand that the city's code that the city cited, it's basically about external appearance things. When you really look at it, it's about trash and debris in the yard. It's about the condition of the building. It's maybe deteriorating paint, maybe the fact it doesn't have a roof, and maybe a collapsing wall. A lot of serious things on this house apparently that are structural in nature that really pose a danger to, people in the property at least. And certainly it's more about at this point, observable things that one can see from the street, which is primarily where code enforcement inspectors go to see things. And that hasn't improved much. And we haven't had any communication regarding this. And, you mentioned some things that may be going on the inside, but we're coming up on a year now and the house is pretty much in the same shape it was in March of last year. And I think I might have mentioned, as is my usual habit, that the city really doesn't want anybody's money. What they want is compliance. They want a good faith effort to make progress on a solution. And here we are 11 months later, and it might even be worse than it was. Although I'm not discounting your testimony concerning what may have happened inside the property. The question is, the city was trying to get, after a serious period of time, some effort to get a notion of when the problem was going to be solved. And right now, we're not at the point where this problem is going to be solved. And what I'm hearing is you don't have any money to deal with it anyway. And I wish I could tell you I had a solution for you, by the way.
If I may, Special Magistrate, we actually had a meeting. Today is Tuesday, we met Friday. with a realtor who says she has somebody interested in the property. So I believe Mr. Gornto is prepared to sell the property. Is that true?
Yes, there is. I
The,
talked to, Robbie,
the realtor that approached us was the mayor, Robbie Correa. Uh,
Well, here's the deal. The only authority I have, and I've mentioned this before, my authority is very narrow, is prescribed by statute in city code. It's to see whether there's a violation based on substantial and competent evidence and facts that support the allegation. And at some point in time, determine whether it's appropriate to allow the city to place and record a lien on the property for the accrued fines. Now, I'm going to tell you that the city charges the absolute de minimis amount of fine per day. They could charge up to $250 a day per violation. Now, they haven't done that. They, like I said, they don't want your money. They want compliance. This thing has now steamrolled to the point where we've gotten a substantial amount of money due on this property. Once this lien goes into effect, I lose control of that. I don't have the authority to reduce that anymore. You're going to have to appeal that.
Well, I would ask with the violations that are listed, they seem a bit repetitive. If the building is in a deteriorating mode, okay, so that's a violation. It's deteriorating. So now we're saying it's deteriorating, but now the roof is a problem and the windows are a problem, but the whole building's deteriorating. That's 3 violations where it's all covered under the building deteriorating. Is there any leeway in that?
Well, I'm not your attorney, but the chance to appeal that decision is passed.
I'm sorry, has passed?
Yeah, 30 days. Like I said, they don't want your money. They want compliance. And right now, what I'm hearing is that there hasn't been any improvement as to any of the 5 violations, basically, that can demonstrate that. The city has waited, and I have to admit, I push cities and counties I work with to not wait too long before they start bringing the liens in, because we don't want to have some huge number start coming up. They start turning into 6 figures. I've seen that in certain places where it gets to be over $100,000 in fines that are accrued. And we like to see things moving along because, again, the object is compliance at this point. What worries me is that there hasn't been any communication between y'all and the city at all in terms of trying to work with each other on trying to resolve this. And right now, what I'm hearing is even if there were communication in the future, it doesn't look like there's any means to address the problem, and you're looking to sell the property. I mean, at this point in time, the city's entitled to their lien based on the fines that have accrued. And once they record it, it's there. When you try to sell the property, that's going to have to come out of the sales price. And that's going to continue to accrue, by the way, after today. Okay. And, I think, again, I'm not your legal counsel. I'm just telling you what the law provides for. Anything else you'd like to add to the situation?
no, sir.
Ms. Lowe, anything from you?
No, sir.
Okay. City's still looking for their lien and the amount.
Yes, sir.
Nothing we can work out with the city to get another small extension to try to
Let me ask you
put the
something.
property in different hands and get,
And while you're asking questions, not to be rude, why didn't you ask this question before now? It's been 11 months.
well, I've been helping Reese take the building down. I did not think I needed to take the responsibility to communicate with the city on his
You're
behalf
you're
also.
not the owner.
Correct, I'm not.
Mr. Gornto is the owner.
That's absolutely correct, and he dropped the ball on communicating with the city. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it.
Well, here's the thing, all is not lost. There's a means where you might be able to get the lien reduced once it's recorded. So I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but it's not something I can do at this point. So unless there's something else, I'm going to find it appropriate to enter an order that allows the city to report a lien on the property for the accrued fines on the five violations. The fines as of today total $23,375. They will continue to accrue at a rate of $25 per day per violation until satisfied or paid. Okay? And you need to, in the future, again, it's your choice. I can't control that, but you all need to work out something with the city.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming today. All right, we're looking at 418 River, is that correct? Next case is case number 2023-190, property located at 418 River Street in Palatka, Florida. Owner of record is Warren Wilhite. Hi,
Hi.
and you are,
I am Mrs. Wilhite.
and you are,
I'm Warren Wellhite.
and just for the record, Mr. Wilhite and I actually know each other since we went to high school together.
I thought that was you.
And so it's not like we're unfamiliar. That, I don't think that's going to affect any outcomes today, but nonetheless, we want to make sure for the record is there. All right, this is property at 418 River. Mr. Green, you have alleged a violation regarding 30-169, which is a city ordinance regarding building fronts and side abutting public streets or public areas, which I presume is River Street, claiming that there's deteriorating paint on the sides that are visible from the street. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that section is in the record. Just so I know, the official address of where we sent notice was 114 Dodge Street, Palatka, Florida, 32177. Is that your correct mailing address?
No, it should be 418 River Street.
Okay. Did y'all send a letter to?
I sent a letter to the address that was on the property appraiser, also the tax collector, or both had for them.
He still
Y'all
owns,
get the letter?
he still owns the property. I went to the post office.
You got it, okay. Very good, and you're here, so that's always good to see when somebody's here. What we're going to do, Mr. Green is going to present the city's position on why there's a violation of 30-169. That ordinance basically provides that all exposed wood should be stained or painted. Every part should be clean of graffiti, litter, dirt, or other debris. Where surfaces were once painted or stained, not more than 10% of the surface may be free of paint or stain. So this is about paint, not mold or mildew.
Yes, sir.
All right. He's going to make a presentation concerning why he thinks this is a violation. He's got some demonstrative evidence, that is photographs, he's going to show. Mr. Green, did you take the photographs you're about to show us?
Yes, sir.
And do they accurately represent the condition of property and data in which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
The property first observed 10/14/2023. The notice hearing was sent at February the 2nd, February the 6th, 2024. The Queen card did not get returned back. The complex posting was posted on February the 6th, 2024. Site posting was on February the 6th, 2024. Then we go to picture 1A.
Okay. This is about paint.
That's the posting.
This one is
That's the posting.
posting, all right. And you have your affidavit of service included,
Yes, sir. sir.
plus they're here.
Yes. Next one.
This is property 418 River Street,
Yes, sir.
all right?
Next picture.
So what's the problem?
Oh, wait, you got it. There you go. This is picture 1A. You can see this, the right side of the house, if you're facing the house, deteriorating paint. This picture was taken October 14, 2023. You can see this if you're walking south on River Street.
Okay.
And this picture is 2B. It was taken February 17, 2024. You see if you're walking down south on River Street. This is picture 2A taken October 14, 2023. You can see this if you're walking north on River Street. And this 2B taken February 17, 2024.
So is this house in a historic district?
Yes, sir.
Has this got to go through historic review?
Yes, sir.
Can I
Is there-
say
is there a
something?
hang on, you will. Is there a palette of colors that's applicable to this?
Yes, sir.
But still, you only painted certain colors.
Yes, sir.
And historic review would indicate what those would be. Is the color on it? Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
I would imagine.
Well, don't imagine. You
Yes,
gotta
sir,
be
it
able to
is.
Tell me.
It is. I mean, it's painted that color. They haven't been,
It's not an imaginary hearing. We're here in real life. So that color has been on the house for how long? Well, how long has that color been on that house?
Years.
I think I painted about 15, 20 years ago.
Okay. All right, so the solution is,
remove all the deteriorating paint and paint with even coat
okay,
paint.
Have you had a conversation with Will House?
This morning I talked to Ms. Willhite.
Okay, but not before this morning?
No,
No,
Okay.
now he called.
yeah,
over
he
there.
called my director.
So how long has this been going on? You sent him notice? Notice was sent in,
February.
February,
Whoever, yes, sir.
first part of the month?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
With the voluntary letter, yes.
All right. Ms. Wilhite, it seems that the city wants you to paint your house in a color that's suitable to the architectural review people. What say you?
Your Honor, 2 years ago, the house got the front destroyed by the neighbor's tree. And the front took a year to get put back on to the house. And it wasn't put on exactly as it wasn't originally because of the cost of putting a deck and stuff on top. So we have been in the process of doing repairs to the house. We had a bathroom put in at the reason for the deterioration on the side is because the upstairs bathroom has been leaking down that wood, and we are in the process of getting that bathroom repaired as well, but that won't be until March of this year. And then we're trying to decide on a color for the house, trying to restore it back to the original, which would be white instead of yellow, which we have to go through the historic district to get approval on.
So you're willing to repaint the house? You just been going through.
We
Was the
plan to
ci-
do it.
Was the city involved in the repair work on this house?
I don't know.
Okay. I was wondering if it was an issue at the time.
They we got a, I think, how much was it,
Mr. Griffin said
$15,000?
yes.
We got
Mr.
a
Griffin said
grant.
yes.
Okay, one at a time, guys. We got a record. I don't want people talking on top of each other. Mr. Wilhite, please proceed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the city did give us $15,000, and I think I had to spend $80,000 to get the front redone.
Okay.
And,
Let me ask you this, do you dispute the fact it needs to be painted?
huh?
Do you dispute the fact the house needs to be painted?
Sure it does, yeah.
And we've been in the
We've
process with the
painted. I
plan.
did the front, you don't have to picture the front up there, but
Well, you have to understand,
I scraped
every
down
time,
the
every
front.
time I hear
painted it.
somebody saying, well, that it needs to be done, and then I'm asking, why are we here? If that
Wow.
it needs to be done, the city understands it needs to be done, and like I said, you may have heard from previous hearings, I'd like to hear the parties talk to each other before they get here, see if we can resolve some of the
I can have to
difficulties.
talk to anybody.
All right,
David.
the city's, you asking for how many days to get this?
On 90 days,
For what?
to remove deteriorating paint and paint.
Can that even be done in 90 days? Can you get through the part, does it require a permanent
So
construction?
Special Magistrate Brown, they will need to go get a certificate of appropriateness through the Historic Preservation Board. So that meets once a month. So there is a time factor there in terms of notice.
Yeah, thank you. So you gotta go through that. It's, other than that certificate of appropriateness, is there anything else they're going to need in terms of city approval for repainting?
The recipient of appropriate is probably give them a guideline of the paint that they can utilize in that area.
But they don't need any kind of construction permit for the repaint.
No.
All that being said,
Microphone, Mr. Perry.
are you asking that the paint job be completed in 90 days and which includes the time it takes to get a permit?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Can that even be done?
at the time frame right now, we think it could be done. We're willing to give extension if we see that the meeting with the historical board is not giving them enough time after the fact, but we think 90 days is appropriate to meet with the historical board and also, maintain any kind of contract with the paint.
Okay, well, as to if you want to go on 90 days, let's make it 90 days to apply for and receive the appropriate certificate of appropriateness from architectural review and to contract for the work. How about that?
I sign off on that.
Mr. Wilhite, Mrs. Wilhite, will that satisfy you?
If we can get into here. they
They're
can
looking
hear
like
us.
they're having a good time. Here's the thing about it. You don't want to come back here. And stay in touch with Mr. Green, Mr. Cutright, anyone else, and who's doing architectural, historic review these days? Is there a person?
Yeah, so here within the city, it's our planner, Casey Cheap, handles the agenda for the HPB. And we can get you placed on that agenda and can provide you the
Here's
application.
what we're gonna do. We're gonna issue an order finding a violation of the 30-169. I think it's well established that the house needs to be repainted, but it needs to go through historic review. So we're gonna issue an order finding the violation, requiring compliance by going through architectural review and getting a permit and contracting with a painter within 90 days from today's date, which would be Wednesday, May 20th. Okay? If you're having any trouble with any of those dates, do not hesitate to come down and call Mr. Green and let him know what's going on. Okay?
Mhm.
Like I said, they don't want your money. They just want the house paint.
We do too.
Okay. Well, everybody wants that too. Thank you for coming today. You'll get the order in the mail and make sure we send it to both addresses, Mr. Green, and get the correct address. Okay? Thank you all for coming. Okay. Okay. Mr. West, you want us to wait? Are you having a stroke in here? Ah, there you go. All right. Final case number 2023-191, property located at 600 Emmett Street. Owners of record are Dawn Rawls and Richard Earl Burke as tenants in common. The alleged violations are of section 30-169, building fronts and sides abutting streets or public areas, rotten and weakened wood, and 30-169, prohibited conditions and public nuisances, mold and mildew, observable from Emmett Street. Is that correct, Mr. Green?
Yes, sir.
Are Dawn Rawls or Richard Burke or any of them present? Hi. And you are Ms. Rawls?
Yes.
All right. Could you raise your right hand for me and be sworn? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give today shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Speaking of that mic, Ms. Krantz, can you hear her?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Like I said, I'm still deaf from yesterday, so you have to bear with me. All right. Mr. Green, let me do a due process due diligence just to make sure. Ms. Raw, did you get the letter of notification in your mail?
I did.
You did? Okay.
It was,
And you confirmed it?
yeah, it was dated, or it was 2805 Twig Street. I live at 2850, but it was delivered to my work at 2510 Krill Avenue.
Okay.
And that's because I know the post people.
Yeah, just for the record, she is correct. It looks like
There is no
yeah, there's a
2805.
typo in the address on the mailing. You got the 5 and 0 transposed. Make sure we get the correct, but she is here. She's gotten the notice. Thank you for being here today. And Mr. Green, like I said, you have 2 alleged violations of 30-169. The first one with rotten and weakened wood, and second is mold and mildew, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you show us some demonstrative evidence.
Yes, sir.
Did you take the photographs you're about to show us?
Yes, sir.
And do the photographs accurately represent the condition of the property on date in which you took them?
Yes, sir.
All right, please proceed.
Next picture, please. This is a picture taken 10/14/2023. This is picture 1A, showing the front of the house. Under the second story window is rotten and weakened wood. This is if you're facing the house.
Okay, and this is how many linear feet of that approximately? How long is just what you see in the photo?
Yes, sir.
So it's like 3 or 4 feet.
Maybe 5, 6.
So it's compliance with that would be just replacing that,
Yes, sir.
course
Remove it
of
and
wood.
replace it.
all right? What next?
This is picture 1B taken February 17, 2024. It's the same picture, same elevation.
That's the same elevation? all
Yes,
right,
sir.
Same piece, all right?
I'm standing on Emmett Street, if I see that. This is picture 2A taken October 14, 2023. This is the right side of the building if you're facing the building. This is Dodge Street. This one does that.
Just on a corner property?
Yes, sir. This is picture 2A taken 10/14/2023. Same elevation.
Okay, go back to the other one. Okay, so we're looking at the same elevation on both of these pictures?
Yes, sir.
2A being very good.
From Dodge Street.
And show me the next one. So this is the same dormer window?
Yes, sir.
So again, you have deteriorated wood.
Yes, sir.
It's like 1, 2, maybe
1, 2,
three
3, 4. Yes, sir.
planks up to the bottom of the threshold of the window.
Yes, sir.
And there's a piece off to the right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is picture 3A taken October 14, 2023. The mold and mildew. This is the back wall. This is if I'm walking east on Dodge Street.
Okay. Again, it's on a corner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Dodge and Emmett.
Yes, sir.
Is this part of the main structure?
Yes, sir.
So the violation there is just mold and mildew?
Yes, sir.
How high up does it go?
All the way to the top.
What's the city want done there?
Pressure wash.
What next?
3B. This is taken, this 2/17/2024, mold and mildew. Same elevation. In Dodge Street, walking east.
So it's the same elevation as the previous picture?
Yes, sir.
Go back to the other one. Hang on. All right, and back to the 3B.
Yes, sir.
What's the coloration difference?
She's replacing the wood
Okay,
and she's taking the screening down from the porch.
so she's making progress?
Yes, sir.
I'll ask my favorite question. If she's making progress, why is the city here?
You want me to answer that?
Mhm.
Because, we have a time limit there for her to have come into compliance, and actually she's coming, we passed that compliance date of, trying to get the voluntary compliance, trying to make sure we motivate the citizens to continue to do great work.
Well, how long has this been going on? Have you been talking with her?
I've had conversations with Ms. Rawls on a couple properties,
Mhm.
and I think the one property, we haven't had a lot of conversation about this property, but the other property we've been dealing with more.
Hey, Mr. Green, go ahead, finish your presentation.
That's it, Mr.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
So what I'm looking at, you wanted this elevation, which I'm looking at 3B, the city just wanted that pressure wash, and she's replacing the wood.
Yes, sir.
Right. All she had to do is pressure wash the rest of it?
Well, the bottom part had some tie back and it was a little piece of rotten at the left
Right.
corner, bottom left corner.
But you didn't allege that that was a problem. It's not a problem today.
No, sir.
correct? All right, so the rest, so your solution is just pressure wash that side. Now go back. She has, your city would have her repair the damaged wood under the dormer window. And then that one piece off to the right of the dormer window, and this is on the Emmett Street
Yes, sir.
elevation?
No, it's the Dodge Street.
Dodge Street elevation, go back to the front again.
That's Dodge.
That's on Dodge.
Yes, sir.
okay.
And that's
And
Emmett.
this is on Emmett,
Yes, sir.
and you've got one course of wood about 4 or 5 feet long on Emmett Street,
Yes,
and
sir.
that's it.
Yes, sir.
Have you talked with her concerning those repairs and when they might
Yes, sir.
be done?
Yes, sir.
She given you any?
When I talked to the contractor Saturday, he said he have it done in 2 weeks.
Okay. And we're still here. So has there been a reason you don't think she's responding?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Rawls, your turn.
Okay.
The city wants you to repair, 1, 2, 3 locations of rotten wood and a pressure wash the
Correct.
Dodge Street side of the building, and it looks like you've been doing some work in that regard, and he says you have a contractor under
Yes.
control?
Yes, I do. This is the third property that I've been code violated on. All of the properties that I've been code violated on were owned by both my parents. And October of 2022, my dad passed away after taking care of him from brain cancer. 14 months later, my mom passed away, first week of December 23. These properties probably should have been painted about 6 to 8 years ago, but they weren't because the owners were living in them. When you have an old property in the historic district, the city fails to understand that the picture of it being pressure washed doesn't mean it needs to be pressure washed. When you touch that piece of wood, the only thing holding that piece of wood together is the paint. When you touch that wood, there's more to that wood that falls apart because it is a natural board. So when we get into these remodels and we get into redoing these, this isn't any type of wood you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. You have to go and get it made. It's the length of it, there's like a little scoop in it. It all has to be traced out and sent over to somebody that's gonna produce the boards. You can't just get them. They're not pressure treated lumber because the historic board, that's what it's pine. So it is gonna rot in another 5 years after we replace it. Keeping it, you have to paint these old houses, and if they're not maintained, they rot several boards up. So replacing that one board, we have to go all the way across because underneath all the windows is rotten, but it doesn't look like it is until you actually get out there. So the material that we used to replace the second floor boards was used on the first floor. And then we went around to the other side, what they didn't picture, and there's rotten boards over there. So there's a detached 2-car garage and a detached shed thing. And so the city's looking at the house in general when it's board by board, you just don't know. So we have to keep ordering. You're on a 10-day, 7 to 10 business days to get the lumber.
Do you have a contract for the wood one?
I'm not with me, but yes,
but you
it's
do.
already bought and paid for.
Okay.
That was the first order that we've ordered. The second order is going to be here any day now, and he's going to go out there, and nobody's on the site today is because the wood's not on site. So getting the wood on site is a whole nother story. Getting it pressure washed and painted, I'm going to have a painter start caulking the wood on Monday. So I am working on it. And
How long do you think it'll take you to finish it?
how long does it take to get a server at a restaurant? Nobody wants to work nowadays. So I can't get them out there. If I had another 30 to 60 days, yeah, every day.
Well, right now the city's looking for 90.
I could do it in 90 days.
I'm gonna be fair with you
Yeah.
as with them.
And I already
I'm
had the
impressed
paint
by the fact
approved.
You've been making efforts to try to get this done.
Yeah.
I
And
do
the
wanna- I
paint's
do wanna
already
see that
been,
communication between you and the city on.
yeah, the paint's already been approved. The colors, so I don't have an issue with that. I'm also gonna be redoing the deck boards all the way around because they're cupped, because somebody wanted tongue and groove, and it just needs to be deck boards so they last, so they don't cup and it's not a tripping hazard. And the steps need to be rebuilt as well. So,
And 90 will be enough for you?
yes, sir.
There's no fine that's gonna start today. Now, it looks like there are violations in terms of the 2 code provisions concerning the rotten wood and the mold and mildew,
Yeah,
which apparently, from your testimony, is considerably worse than just mold and mildew.
it is. And until you go and touch it, you don't know it's done. So that's my problem is I'm like, I don't want them to come on the property and start touching everything, but when your
Right.
contractor's out there, that's what it looks worse than it actually looks better than what it really is. More boards need to be
Do us
replaced.
all a favor, make sure you stay in touch with Mr. Green
Yeah.
and Mr. Cartwright concerning how much progress is.
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing is you've got,
I got a handle on it.
You've got historic approval.
Yeah.
You've gotten the color, you've
Yeah.
got the wood on order, the wood's coming, you've got.
And I have
contractor
a
who can deal with it.
Painter on tap.
All right. And Mr. Green, that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
And if you do have some trouble and you can't get to 90 days, please stay in touch with them, not on the 90th day, and let them know
Oh,
what
no.
the situation is. I'll leave it to them as to how they want to deal with that. So you get an order finding the violation. There was a compliance date of May 20th, 90 days. No fines accrue until, May 21st. And if you stay in touch with the city and see what they're doing and showing substantial progress, you have to work out with them whether they want to, do anything at all beyond that.
Okay.
Okay?
Mhm.
Great. Thank you for coming today. There being no further cases on the agenda, is that correct, Ms. Krantz? Any other comments? If, this is not a public hearing.
No, I'm just saying, I was supposed to be on there today.
Well, did
Saying
they
that
find you in compliance or something? What about that one?
I had the letter in hand.
Fun.
Don't mean to interrupt.
No, always nice to know that.
Trust me, I don't want to be here.
Oh, yes, it was. It was. I didn't have a phone number. I couldn't contact you. That's, yeah. Yeah, we pulled that one.
Well, did you tell
Yes,
him?
pulled it in compliance, yes,
Did you tell him?
yes.
I'm sorry, Jim. Did you let him know?
I didn't have a phone number for him.
So, sir, I would definitely apologize for you. This was pulled for, I guess, coming in compliance. I would definitely want to apologize to you. I would definitely come back and go back to my office and make sure we make the necessary stuff into our system. Like we do in compliance.
You can come back and say,
No,
We're now going to adjourn this meeting and you can talk with him now if you'd like. We are now adjourned.